How's it going, Coach?
Doing all right.
Just want to ask you about Velton Gardner. When did he inform you all that he was going to leave the team?
Velton's not in the program anymore. I guess the best way to say he didn't show yesterday, and
When that happened, what's kind of your
we're going
your
to focus
biggest
on the
concern?
guys in the program. Wish him the best in his future. Again, as I've said, we're concentrate on the guys here, create a culture of competition within the program each and every day, and that's where our focus will be moving forward.
How does that impact your team and what you guys are trying to do this year?
It's one less body in the program. I guess we're going to keep working. Again, I think everyone that has watched us, obviously we're not where we want to be offensively, but I think everyone could say that the progress of Devin Neal continues to show itself in a very positive direction. And, and Amari's getting healthy. Unfortunately, put the ball on the ground. And Torrey Lachlan continues to be a versatile player for us, and that's where we'll continue to focus.
It seemed like Devin was already becoming kind of more of a prominent piece with your offense. What do you think that was the case?
Focusing on him. I think he continues to show his value in this offense, and that he has a very bright future. And I, continue to see his role increasing. Our just on Devin, even early in the season, I'll just say is that our lack of continuity of moving the ball probably was, I made the mistake, which it all still always comes back to of not putting them back out on the field when we're looking for more rhythm, and but probably stymied his first game growth, and we made sure that we're going to do a better job with that.
You guys are 3 games in right now. Where do you feel like you've maybe made the most progress?
There's continued progress. It's not all showing up on the scoreboard or on a stat sheet right now. I still think we're finding out what we can do offensively. As I've said to our team, I think a lot of our inconsistencies, I wish they were one dimensional, or an area that we could plug and play or do something like that. But to our players' credit, it's not one position. It's not one position in the offensive line. It's not a receiver, a quarterback. It's unfortunately then it's the inconsistencies at certain times. And we've got to find a way to get better that way. Other than late in the game, you're looking for positives. I still think are doing a good job in ball security. I think we're doing a good job all in all in penalties, which are signs of discipline and technique and things like that. But we still have a long way to go. Defensively, we need to tackle better. We need to be more physical. I still think we're playing hard. We all know what we're working through, and as we continue to evaluate from what we are 3 games into a new system, I think we all know that it was going to take some time, and we don't know how much time it's going to take, and we're doing our best for this senior class and everyone to keep fighting forward and progressing. And I think there are a lot of positives that this can continue to improve and put us in a better situation.
Does the departure of someone like Velton mean that the transfer portal will be all the more important in the recruiting process to bring in experience?
Again, we will look at, as we continue to evaluate and develop our current roster, will be first and foremost. Again, between scholarships and scholarships that are available, anytime any scholarship player leaves, and you're looking right now until NCAA legislation changes the 25 hard cap, which we're hoping to get news on this week, it always, plays a part. You guys that have covered this program for a long time know more about the scholarship count issues than I do, and how it's hurt this program. So as we continue to look at it, we will always look for balance within our program of scholarship players in each class that we, is spread out for maturity and development reasons. So everything will always be on the board in this program. We will try to always recruit high school players, as we said, and we talked about how much we want to do that locally and work out from there. But we have to be realistic in the fact that we are going to look at all ways that we can improve this program for the long haul. Okay, not just for the short term. So that's a long answer to everything's an option.
I know Caleb Sampson, he got the Crimson Club Award a little bit ago, and obviously I think that's for before you got to Kansas. But from what you know about Caleb, does that seem like just something that you're not surprised that he earned?
Yeah, he really impressed me. He just as a person, he's very consistent in his daily approach. I think Caleb's a very mature young man, unassuming in some ways, but I think has great respect within our locker room and within our coaching staff. It was really good to see the way he played on Saturday. I thought he played very well, but just to watch how he conducts himself, to see him do that and hear some of those things, like you said, a lot of that is things that were decided before we arrived. But I see him as one of our leaders of our program and a guy that can be that way within this campus.
Hey, Lance, what did the tape show you about the missed tackles? What did you see?
Well, there's a lot. I'm watching something early this morning on SportsCenter about NFL games showing like 7 missed tackles on a certain play. I mean, tackling is something that's talked about in all levels of football today, and a lot of it is based on, we go back to practice models and how much you can do and how much you try to implement it within the formats. And it's a concern across the board about what we can do. We have to be better at it. Sometimes that has to do with, unfortunately, sometimes experience in youth and physicality and strength and all the things that we're doing, but we've got to do better. And we've modified some things we do in practice. We did a little bit last week. We did not see the results of that, and we will continue to work and emphasize on that. But on either side, well, you're not going live in practice, and there's only so many scrimmage opportunities, and then, I probably should have somebody do a study for me about how many live opportunities each player then gets, not just how much holistically, which we have to kind of keep track of, but how much did player X get a chance to make a live tackle? And then what was his success rate? And how do we do that? Because you can't just line up kids and make them tackle people anymore, because they don't view that as being healthy. But so we have to do a better job trying to simulate those things. And, but yeah, our missed tackles and yards after contact are not where they need to be. And it's being talked about and addressed daily.
I want to ask you too about your linebackers. I think Nick Channel might have had your first tackle for loss in that fourth quarter of the season. What have you seen from that unit? And I guess, how can they create more havoc?
Yeah, I think I had a feeling something like that was being asked today. I think we've talked, I think Chris Simpson has tried to talk to, and I think that again has to do being aggressive, and sometimes aggressiveness goes with confidence. And confidence can be personal confidence, some of the things we just alluded to, or personal or personal confidence or unit positional confidence within a new scheme. And I think we're dealing with both. And I think we're going to grow through that a little bit of, like we said, of a new defensive scheme put in, and as much time as you can carve out in the summer within the rules to start talking terminology, there still were only so many practices to go do it. And then you go do it live against an opponent. We're growing through that to have the confidence to play with confidence and to play fast. And I don't know if we're always playing fast, meaning not effort, but reactionary with confidence to get downhill. And you say to make plays at or behind the line of scrimmage. It's not a concern of willingness or whatever at the position. I think it's a matter of us taking that next step, and we need to get there soon.
And last one from me. The cameras kind of caught you again, going after some officials on game day. I just wondered what you thought what you think your role is on game day to be down there. Yeah,
that's my role. When I don't see it, and I know what I see, and I'm pretty confident about it. And quite honestly, quite often during the week, I get the reply that I was looking for. It's 2 or 3 days too late. I've been that way for 15 years. I'm probably not changing. And, but yeah, that's kind of, it's
have you always seen that's important? Some coaches are pretty stoic on the sidelines. Is that something that's always kind of been part of your MO?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, it's probably a little bit, I guess, especially I think the cameras could find better things to probably focus on. But my passion for our team and our players, and especially that, as I said, I'm not going to worry about what the scoreboard says in our favor, not in our favor, about my expectations of anyone associated with the game. Our players, anybody that oversees the game, whatever that may be, that goes with our effort, our strain, same things. Okay. And when I know and see that a jersey's being pulled, I feel pretty adamant about it, especially when it happened 5 feet in front of me. So I sleep well at night knowing what I saw, and I'll leave it at that.
Lance, you mentioned confidence as something that needs to be evaluated and will continue to be, and you mentioned it a minute ago too. How do you do that? You mentioned confidence, experience. How do you do that? What do you look for?
Yeah, that's and again, there's because we talked about 2 weeks ago, we're not going to have moral victories and stuff. There's some things that grade out, and it goes back to the other thing, is that it's not just, it's getting us to be consistent individually, and then that goes within a unit, and then the side of the ball and a team and all those things, because, these are things that are said to our players as well, is, again, we have to do a better job coaching. Okay. It starts with us. There's times where there's good protection, but when sometimes you have a younger quarterback, even when there's good protection, when that mental clock goes off and the ball's not released, the natural tendency is then to drift and scramble. Well, even though there was good protection, well, then the next time, we have a problem and it looks like there's not good protection, then the next time we have a missed blitz pickup by a young running back. Okay, well, then it looks like but it's something completely different. And those are through reps and seeing and finding ways to play fast during practice and see it and learn and learn from these things. And once we start seeing it, more confidence goes. Okay. And with some, if we go in on the other side of the ball, it might be young defensive backs who are going to continue to develop and physically get stronger and going to be better tacklers. We talk about sometimes practicing fast again, so we take better angles and things. All those things start you start stacking those up, then you start playing a little better. And then with that comes confidence. And we've got to find ways to continue to do that. The willingness is there, and I see in some places, and I'm not, I'll let you guess, because I don't have certain individuals in mind, but I've known in my past, sometimes you get a little flustered or a certain way, maybe with a player, but if things were consistent when we get this where it needs to be and players hit the field in the right development time that they should, instead of being forced out there. I mean, everybody wants to play, as we tell them, but when they're truly ready, mentally and physically. But when we get that way, we can't be mad at the player who's on the job training is also on Saturdays. But I know that'll pay off also as we continue.
Yeah. And regarding that confidence, did you see Saturday's result shake these guys any, or did they come back and bounce back?
I think this one was a little bit more of a sting because of the way it ended. I look at some moments again, that third quarter, as we talked about, where one score. I think our two first possessions of the offensive possessions were definitely took the wind out of us in many different ways. And one was we didn't exhaust any clock in that time. And Andy and I talked about that, and we both agreed with that. We felt we came out of the first half with confidence and had some success throwing, but at the same time, we didn't do a good enough job with the clock early in the part there that, again, put our defense back out there and doing some of those things that we keep pushing that thing into the fourth quarter and then be within striking distance or even better.
With the passing game and the receivers in particular, how would you kind of assess where they're at right now?
Still developing. I think, again, we're continually looking for roles of certain guys. I think there's flashes, as you can see. There'll be a flash, Kwame Lasser is the most experienced and the guy who's out there the most. I think Luke Grimm has shown his flashes. I mean, Lawrence Arnold, showed some in the first game. And then Trevor Wilson has shown some as well. We got to continue to bring Stephen McBride along in different ways and other things, and that's one of the other, when we went through it, and not going to get in specifics, and, we have a chance to hit we feel we got a chance to hit a deep ball, and we get a wrong route run. Okay. And it's a mental bust. It's a assignment error. Okay. Well, nobody really knows that, but except the ball didn't get thrown because the guys, nobody's where we wanted the ball to go, and making sure we have enough in offensively to be diverse, but making sure we don't have too much that we can't handle. And that's part of what can happen in these type of situations that we're in right now, based of where we are as far as experience and where we are as a program on timing and practice time. Anybody else? Okay.
Hey, Lance.
Daniel, or we got anybody on?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Lance, I was wanting to know if there's anything on Colin Grunhard. How's he doing?
Colin is going to be out for a while. I wish I'd give you a little better time frame. Probably miss the next two for sure. And then we'll see where we are after the open week.
Gotcha. Thanks. And then, as you're trying to build this thing, what are the challenges with the transfer portal?
We're going to build this thing, John.
I know.
We're going to. Yeah, it's the dilemma every coach is going through right now. You're managing your roster. You're looking at how it affects your scholarships. You're looking at your locker room morale. Everybody, where everybody wants to play. You have a lot of people influencing young men today. As I've said it, I don't even know if I've said it to this group yet. I used to say it to the last group I coach, is that the facts is that a lot of people tell you what you want to hear, but I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I think that's just the way you need to coach young men, is that, and the way for them to truly reach their fullest potential. And we will continue to do that, but the portal can be it's an interesting thing. And that's why I think, it's affected this program in different ways for a long time, but now it's truly a portal. I think it's become more of a national thing where they've got to look at how to adjust the rules and the accounts of what you're doing. And then you have to look at, when you do bring players in, and I think we talked about the additions we made this summer, why we were confident about those was because we knew they would fit the culture that we're going to build and install here. So those were easy, but there was one FBS program didn't sign a high school player this year. They just went and signed all guys out of the portal. And that was in a high school rich state. And so you don't know how this will change and impact college football.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, could you talk a little bit about Torrey Loughlin and what he brings to the table? And do you see him getting a steady dose of carries as a backup?
Torrey Loughlin, very versatile player. I've heard, it was kind of like trying to find them a home, I think. And again, for us to be, seeing them for the first time in August, and then through some of the injuries at the running back position, we moved him quickly back to running back from receiver. He's a valuable player in this program. He's one of our better special teams players. He has great attitude. He's a really good athlete. And so, I mean, I think he could play the other side of the ball if he really was needed. He's needed at running back at this moment. I think with his, he spent time in the receiver room. He's been a former quarterback. I think his understanding of the game makes him a very versatile weapon. And as he continues to develop, I think hopefully we'll find whether it be through carries or touches in other ways, we got to find ways to get him the ball. Yes.
And last one for me, OJ Burrows has been one of those young players in the secondary who have been making some plays, had the forced fumble last week. Could you just describe the type of player he is and what he brings to the table?
Yeah, he's one of our exciting, young freshmen in this program. Not the biggest guy, okay, and he's one of them that I continue to talk to, and probably to make him nauseated is that about physical development just for the long haul, because he's aggressive. He has outstanding ball instincts and ball skills. But the other part of playing safety is the physicality about playing the run and making tackles, and that is. But I think OJ has a very bright future, and I think we'll continue to see him make plays throughout this year as well.
Thank you.